Oh, hey, welcome to day 4. Today is staining day. We had, like I mentioned yesterday, a whole bunch of stuff to get done this morning, but today the goal was to get the floor stained. So I started off this morning scraping the corners, my favorite thing to do, and random orbiting all the edges. So I crawled around the entire floor, 60 grit paper on the orbiter, and went around with the light and checked for any scratches that were remaining in the floor. So sometimes when you're edging, you can leave behind little swirls and little digs, or called edger marks, and it's always good to go around with the orbiter and get those all cleaned up. Once that was done, it's time to buff the floor. So here you see me with the buffer hooked up to the vacuum, and we have a 100 grit screen that we're going over the entire floor with. This is kind of to even out all of the sanding. So the drum sander and the edger and the orbiter all sand differently. And if we were to put stain on it, you would see halos and you would see light spots, dark spots. It would just make the stain very uneven. Or a natural floor, whether you're doing a stain or a natural. Either way, it needs to be buffed. That's the way you can sand everything all together the same way, so that when you apply your coatings, they look nice and even. So we went over the whole floor, like I said, with the 100 grit screen. The only thing after that remains is to vacuum everything up and tape it off to get ready to screen. As well as, I guess, water popping. I forgot to mention that, but you'll see that here in just a second. So just let me finish up here with the buffer. I guess I could have cut this. It's getting a little long. Sorry about that. But here we go. Okay, so next step, vacuum it up, and then now it's ready to be water popped. So basically with a bucket of water and a sponge. I crawl by hand over the entire floor. In my last video where I did this, everyone was blowing me up in the comments saying that I should figure out an easier way to do this. I don't mind crawling around and doing it real quick. It's 10 minutes. I can be on my hands and knees for 10 minutes crawling around. It's not too big of a deal. So I just got to get it nice and even and then let it dry. So I get the sponge wet, wring it out, go over everything. This is to open up the grain of the wood to accept the stain even more evenly. So now here we are applying the stain. I don't know what your vote for stain color was yesterday. It seemed like a lot of people were saying golden oak. The customer chose early American. So this is early American stain. Here is the white oak and the red oak repair, as well as my transitions. And then here we are, staining the floor. Glad to get this done today. And the stain turned out beautiful. Nice and even. We didn't have any weird spots or anything like that. It seemed like the sanding all came out nice. There it is, all stained, and I will plan to see you tomorrow for the finish coats. See you then.